You are listening to Off the Record with your hosts, Linda and Keone. Welcome to Off the Record. We discuss and review shows as it relates to societal issues, cultural issues, and just fan discussions in general.
Our format will be segmented into episodes that are separated by each series so that's easy to navigate and organize. Our first series will be about the popular 2024 K-drama Queen of Tears.
We'll watch and review each episode weekly. Considering they're so long, we may break up the episodes into 2 parts. We hope you enjoy. Don't forget to add us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
So for our first episode, we just wanted to talk about why we're doing this. I can start. My background with watching Korean drama is actually kind of long. I started watching Korean drama with my mom, and that was like in the early 2000s. We don't mind all the external noises from Keone's mic. So we didn't have the luxury of streaming nowadays, where you can just turn on Netflix, Amazon Prime, and even I think it's even on Hulu. It's on a lot of major streaming networks in the US. And that wasn't our luxury back then, okay? We had to get them on VHS tapes, okay?
Or pirate them.
And they're usually pirated. And we would have to wait months for someone to dub it, actually. It wasn't even available as a subtitle. Like, that's a luxury. So I remember we would go to the video store and we would look at what was released and get these huge blockades of videotapes to watch. And one of my first Korean drama, I think at the time, was either Winter Sonata or Stairway to Heaven. I can't remember.
Neither of which I've ever watched.
Those are classics. And so I remember I watched them dubbed, and I remember being really confused if I was watching Vietnamese like drama. But I was like, why do these people?
That's a gateway.
But why do these people don't look like us?
Wow.
It's true though. Koreans look different. And then I started realizing.
You're not wrong.
And then I started seeing like Korean language, like when they introduce episodes, and I was like, that is not Vietnamese. What is happening?
Those aren't my people.
So anyway, so then I was like, oh my god, we're watching Korean. I got it. So anyways, was very obsessive over this for a while, and it was always Viet dubbed. And then very slowly, probably I want to say mid to late 2000s was when we started doing the fan dubs, or sorry, not dubs, subs, where
Fan subs.
Yep, where it would be a luxury for us to even be able to find anyone who was able to translate Korean into English and then upload them on top of the videos being available. So that more pirating, if you will.
I mean, big shout out to the fan subbing community. Y'all really did a solid to all of us who can't speak other languages.
100%, yes. I will
you
say thank you
that.
for crawling so that now we can run, because that is literally where it all started. So anyone who's tuning in to Korean dramas nowadays, you guys are so incredibly fortunate to have professionals who are doing this for you, and it's readily available. Like, when was the last time, if you remember, watching even anime, right? Where
Yesterday.
where it was on a major network and you were actually waiting for each episode to come out each week.
When was the last time?
Yeah.
Like weekly,
probably not.
Whatever.
I'm not talking about the last recent years, but I'm talking about back then. When did you remember ever getting that luxury?
I mean, kind of on the onset, just because I knew where to look.
But you have to know where to look,
exactly,
right?
yeah. So I was, in a sense, not really say this was privileged, but I had people in my life who introduced me to the whole. Essentially, it came about to be first anime, and so then I found all the different avenues in which we can find certain things, and fan subs were just one of them. So.
Fan subs were 100% one of them. Another shout out to the fan subbing community that I know about that is now a major streaming platform as well internationally. Then that would be Viki. That platform.
Shout out Vicky.
Yeah, that platform was a game changer back when it was one of the first of its kind to be able to produce subs, but also be able to have high quality streams. That was also another thing that you would run into, right? Where are you going to get the high quality streams that are not ripped off from some major network? Or if you were bougie, you would be buying those $100 or several $100 box sets that sometimes...
$100 back in the 2000s was a big chunk of change.
Yeah, and they were not easy to find either. It was a luxury item again. So that's why when I'm listening to everyone who's currently was watching Queen of Tears on Netflix, I'm just looking at them like, man, you guys are so lucky. I did not have this luxury.
So spoiled.
Yeah, I didn't have this luxury of being able to do what you guys can easily do, and I'm so glad to see that the Korean cultural wave has peaked, I will say, internationally.
In a big way.
In a very, very big way.
For the last decade.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So that was one of the things that I would say is kind of why we are talking about this today, right? Because we can actually reach a broader audience that can also understand, some of the things we may be discussing today because they've had exposure to watching Korean dramas and exposure to the Korean culture somehow, in some way. And then I wanted to talk about why we're doing a podcast. So, Keon, how would you describe your feelings after watching this series?
Raw. I found myself in a state of not being able to see certain things without having a physical and emotional response, particularly in the ideas that were kind of shown in Queen of Tears.
How so?
The whole, for those who have already watched it, it's a lot about the will to live, the will to keep on going, and to do that in the name of love kind of thing. And that struck a major chord to me, and it just. Even thinking about it now, I'm getting a little misty-eyed. It really did give me a sense of, one, sadness, extreme sadness. But two, also the fact that, there are people who have most likely felt this way in some form or another in their lives. And so...
It's definitely relatable.
Oh, 100%. Even though... the characters and their lives seem so far-fetched and out of reach kind of thing.
Wait, what? You're not a Chaebol?
No, definitely not a shaman. Why do you think we're doing this podcast?
Really?
But the way that the characters are and their character growth screams, I'm human. That's one of the things that made it so relatable to me.
Would you say it's the script then that is what made it relatable, like the themes and stuff, or would it be the acting, the production, all of it?
I would say 90% of it was the acting. Obviously, you need direction, you need a script to go off of, but the way that it was executed and the results of that execution could not have been as much as it is without the talent, the hard work of all the actors and actresses that were involved. So.
Someone give Kim Ji-won an award, please.
Please.
We're still waiting for that.
We love you. Keep her safe.
But no, I do definitely agree with you. I will say that the script is great, but I feel like if you give a great script to someone who can't execute it, who doesn't have that chemistry read, you're not going to really produce the same reaction and emotion out of those characters, right? And just tell the story. We've watched Korean dramas. You know how dramatic and glamorous or, exciting a production can make a show and how it can come together. But I've also seen acting that has been, mediocre at best, and it just doesn't deliver the same rawness that you felt, right, while watching it. So I'm going to say it was mostly the acting for me. Mm-hmm. I would say that Kim Soo-hyun's, chemistry with her was great as well. But the star, I'm sorry, don't hate me, has to be Kim Ji-won.
Oh yeah, I don't even remember what the dude's actual name is.
I just said his name.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't remember it.
Oh my God. Don't get me wrong. He's a great actor, right? I mean, he is considered one of the best top actors in
Highest paid.
Okay, highest paid. But I think one might argue that he might be one of the best. And so I will say he's great with crying, but I never broke down until she cried.
Oh. The amount of times that her just on screen affected me emotionally and physically was too much. Why does one have
much.
such power over me and my emotions? I don't get it.
I will say that I think that's the first time I've ever broke down sobbing over a show. I have never cried as much as I did on the show.
Of all the shows that I've watched in recent memory, that this has been the one that I've shed the most tears. As appropriate by the title.
Queen of Tears, that's us. We're the Queen of Tears.
We are indeed.
So, what did you think about the episodes, though? Like, we're not going to talk about the specific things about the episodes, but how did you feel the length was? Because this, I will say, arguably was the longest episodes I've ever seen. I thought it was 74 minutes each, and then I re-looked at the
It's like 90 minutes.
yes,
Yeah.
the I think the finale was like
Almost
over
2 hours.
2 hours, like almost 2 hours. Yeah.
Something like that.
It was like that's like a movie.
No, each episode was practically a movie, a Pixar length movie.
And for those of you who have not watched Korean dramas, that's not normal
Oh no,
at
definitely
all.
not. Nope.
I
The longest ones I've seen were like maybe 45, 47 minutes.
yes, 45 to
Yeah.
an hour max.
Right.
For sure.
Not this long.
No, and I remember. Oh, and just for context, both of us binged this in a matter of days.
3 days for me.
3 days for me as well. On and off, didn't sleep.
If we're gonna actually sum it in like hours, probably 2 days. Pretty much.
Oh, I don't even want to sum it up. I think it was very unhealthy. How?
Oh yeah, I mean, the only time I ever went out was to have to go to a birthday party,
I didn't even do that.
and then I
went
went home immediately after. And
I think I
started
went to
watching it.
work, and that was it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for you. You had to hold those emotions back while at work,
I did it. I couldn't even talk about it without getting.
which is crazy you say that because the following Monday, after I finished the drama, something at work and the emotions that I felt from the show triggered me to the point where I was just sitting on my couch, looking outside my window, and a tear just rolled down my cheek. I don't know what happened.
I could not discuss the show right after watching it without getting emotional. That was
No.
crazy. It,
For like that happened like for 2 weeks. Like we needed to reset for 2 weeks.
I want to say it might be longer for me. It might have been like 3 weeks for me, just
Yeah.
because I was scrolling on TikTok, and I remember like I would not be able to watch clips that were promo clips, right?
Yeah.
Of these shows. And I mean, I can tell you right now, and this is a spoiler alert, so I'm not going to say any more than I'm going to say, just because I want to actually discuss this later when we get to it. But that church scene,
Oh god.
yes.
But which part?
You know which part, okay? You know which part.
Say the song.
That church scene, I could not watch that church scene without literally trying to hold back my tears. I showed it to someone who've never seen the show, and even I was getting emotionally wrecked from it. Like, why did that?
Yeah.
I have never had that experience before. And
Yeah.
I've watched, and to be honest, I've watched sadder things.
Yeah.
And
And here's the an interesting part of it, and the psychology of it all is, why are we so attached to this character of Heian? You know, why are we so like not just rooting for her, but almost as if she is someone super close to us? Like, there's nothing really in the show that kind of makes her, in a sense, I guess, relatable. But there are parts, but on the offset, like the
She's
onset
just-
of the show. It's just like,
She's just a character.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
She's just. But why are then we having these like visceral emotions of
Like-
like dying inside because she's dying inside?
Like as if like she's someone we know kind of thing,
Right.
and we are like sympathizing to the
To the
point.
max,
Yeah, to the
yeah.
max. I don't know if it's just us or maybe only hitting certain audience members because
It could, yeah.
and I mean I don't know where you can leave a comment, but if there's a way for you to let us know how
Like,
you
are we the weird ones
Are we-
feeling this way?
we're probably the weird ones.
Probably.
We're making a podcast for
We
God's
probably
sake.
weren't loved as children.
This this podcast.
I'm kidding. I love you, Mom.
Oh my god! This podcast is definitely serving as a place to wait. What does that say? Hey guys, this is Linda in the editing room. So at this point in the recording, Keone and I got this error message, and we thought that our whole project was not getting saved. And so this part right here, we edited out, and I'm providing some commentary that might be a thing that we continue to do as we edit these podcasts that you might want to hear from the editors who are like, what are we saying? Why was this here? So this little tidbit is just a moment of technical difficulties. We're talking about, oh yeah.
Not being loved as children.
Well, I was going to say, the reason why we made this podcast is also kind of like our little corner of,
Support group.
yes, and trying to actually, what we wanted to do, because Keone and I, as we discussed, we binge this. So when you binge something, I feel like that's another reason why it hit us so hard, is because the emotions just completely, it's like a snowball effect, right? It keeps
Yeah.
getting bigger and bigger and bigger the more we're watching it until it ends.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people who watch this on a weekly basis, so it's not going to hit
So
them.
unfortunate for them.
I can't do that. I have no patience waiting for
No.
the next episode.
So we kind of got ourselves spoiled because we were able to literally just sit down and go through it all in one go.
Which is a luxury not a lot of people have. And that's
Exactly.
a lot of time, by the way. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't even know if I can do that again, like in one.
Oh, I definitely can. You're talking to a guy who's marathon extended versions of Lord of the Rings
Okay, that's true.
multiple times.
That's true. Okay, you're right. It would be hard for me to do this again, and not just because of the time invested.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the emotion. Like, it's a very taxing, like,
I believe when we talked about the show afterwards, we were like, we can't do this right now. We can't go through this again.
it's too soon.
It's too soon.
It's
So
like-
that's why it's been, 3-4 weeks almost
I want to say it was 4 weeks.
since
yeah.
we last watched
Yeah,
it.
and I will say we also had to watch like another show,
Yeah.
which we won't talk about today, but it's another show to help us recoup. It was like
Basically, eye bleach.
we needed that because
Yeah.
I just could not recover after this.
Oh, no, not at all.
Yeah,
No.
not at all. So, oh gosh, what
It
was
still
I?
pains me whenever I see a clip of it, like, or even just Kim Ji Won in general. Like, if I see her just sad faced, and not even in the context of a K drama, it hits me. She'll forever be Heian.
Kim Ji Won, don't ever be sad, okay?
Please don't ever be sad.
So, I was gonna say the reason why we wanted to rewatch this is because we wanted to actually slow it down and actually watch it for things we may have missed. And I can tell you right now, I missed a lot. I did a rewatch of episode 1, and I realized I missed a lot of things that are really good for discussions, actually. But that didn't even affect me at the time because I just wanted to know what was going to happen next, and then what was going to happen next after
Right.
that.
We were looking for points of like, what's the show about? So we didn't really pay attention to the finer details of
Yeah,
the
and I
first
think
episode.
to really appreciate this and go through and look at all the pocket of information that we had missed
Mm-hmm.
that would have explained something that maybe was left unclear
Yeah.
when we had initially finished and talked about it. So that's why we're doing this. Also because we really do like this show a lot, and that's also why we want to break down and talk about, not actually break down, break it down.
I mean, we'll probably break down while we're
I'm
breaking
really
it down.
hoping that we are stronger now. We are 4 weeks older
Oh,
now.
no, I'm not. Nope.
That we will not just be destroyed by a TV show about
Let
situations
it happen.
that are not affecting us personally.
It affects me personally.
But yeah, so this will be kind of like our little corner to discuss Queen of Tears. And there's a dog barking really loud.
It's okay. They're excited too.
Please let us know. We're going to try to figure out a way for anyone to give us feedback on, how we did, and if you want to hear more, and any comments you want to leave about what we discussed. We'll try to figure that out.
Yeah, and if there's anything you guys want us to talk about specifically, we can get to it. And yeah, just let us know what you think about this kind of first tiny little pilot episode.
And yeah, and also we will have guests on our show.
Oh, yes.
And so if you're interested in being a guest on our show,
let us know if you're down to come and record with us and be a guest.
yeah, and cry with us.
Oh, yes.
Or not cry with us. I really don't want to cry anymore.
It's saying bring your own tissue kind of affair, so
All right, well, catch you guys next time.
we out.